Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Dayspring Discussions, the show where we talk about movies, TV, comic books, sci-fi, fantasy. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am your host, Sean McGahee, and joining me again once is Mr. Joshua Del Angel. Hello, Joshua.
Hello, universe. It's beautiful out there today, man.
It is a beautiful day here in lovely Austin, Texas. I was Skyping with one of my friends earlier, and she was saying how back in Indiana it's freezing. So
oh, man.
I can be thankful for that. However, when it comes summer, of course, it's going to be 110 here and beautiful there. So
sunshine, it doesn't matter. Summertime, fall, doesn't matter, man. I love being in Texas.
It's a beautiful day to talk about some movies and TV and comic books and all that joyous stuff. So let's just get right into it. Of course, the number one topic of the week, Ben Affleck went on Jimmy Kimmel on Wednesday and introduced the new Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice trailer. In the trailer, we saw Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne have a nice conversation about Superman and the Batman that was interrupted by Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg. We also saw a lot more action between Batman and Superman. We saw some Wonder Woman. And then, of course, we saw the creature allegedly known as Doomsday. I'll talk about some of my theories on that. I've kind of developed a couple more things about that.
Okay, I gotta hear this.
Yes, exactly. So the movie comes out March 25th, 2016, directed by Zack Snyder. Okay, well, I'll just go for you, man, because people have heard what I've said. I did my initial gut reaction, my reaction video, so to speak. So what do you think about it, Josh?
I was disappointed, a little disappointed to say the least. I was going into the trailer with a lot of excitement and really pumped. The first scene of the trailer, the first little 5 minutes of, it's a couple seconds of the trailer.
I love, the conversation between, Clark and Bruce or whatever.
Yes.
How they're both kind of sharing their point of views on each other. I love that part.
Do they know? They don't know.
No,
at
of course
that point.
they don't. I'm curious if they'll know by the end of the movie or not. But at that point, they don't know, I'm sure.
Okay, I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be obvious or if they did know or Clark Kent did know that was Batman or.
No, they don't think they knew. I mean, I don't know because we haven't seen the context of where that scene falls in the movie, so they could know. We don't,
What do you think of the chemistry between them? I want to know your opinion.
I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, the conversation itself, like the way they were, debating, so to speak, I liked it a lot. It was badly interrupted by Lex Luthor, I'll tell you that. So that kind of ruined it for me. I know, and that's one thing. I didn't like the idea of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. He doesn't fit what I feel like Lex Luthor should be. But it's something different is not bad. Heath Ledger was a different Joker from Jack Nicholson. So in that respect, it could work in the context of the film. Just that little bit I saw from that. It could be one of those things where in public, Lex Luthor is like this, high energy billionaire, whatever. And of course, behind closed doors, he's mad scientist, wants to rule the world and to kill Superman and all that.
And this character, Lex Luthor, this version of Lex Luthor that Eisenberg's doing, he seems very young and immature.
Yeah, exactly. He seems like...
to see the timeline, where age he is at.
Really, it seems like, because the way they've described his character, too, it's pretty much Mark Zuckerberg on speed or whatever, anyway. But
the only character knows how to play nowadays.
The thing I didn't like, though, was that Lex Luthor, he's like, Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. Lex Luthor, in no interpretation, has cared one speck about Clark Kent. Like, there are times, where he doesn't concern himself with someone as insignificant as Clark Kent.
He's off the radar, right?
Exactly, he's off the radar. And Clark tries to keep it low-key as well. So the fact that Lex Luthor would be like, oh, this is Clark Kent. He wouldn't know who Clark Kent is. He wouldn't concern himself with who Clark Kent is.
I wonder if that line will be in the movie, because that just seemed like it set up the trailer too well. It was
it's one of those scenes they put
Clark
in there.
Kent versus Ben Affleck. Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, they could definitely do that. So the rest of it I didn't really mind. I mean, it showed a lot of action. That was cool. Getting to the main topic, the alleged Doomsday. What'd you think, man?
Well, is it confirmed that is Doomsday? I mean,
okay, so here's what I'm into it. So first, when everyone saw it, we initially thought, okay, that's Doomsday. He's got bones. He's big. He's, a monstrous. He's Doomsday, which is one of Superman's main villains who killed Superman. My problem with that is Doomsday, I would put him in one of Superman's top 5 villains. Not really as far as... what do I want to say? He's the only person who, can match strength with him. With Doomsday in the Death of Superman storyline, Doomsday took out the entire Justice League before he killed Superman. So to take a villain with that kind of impact, not only in Superman's world, but also the DC universe, and put him in the second film, feels like a little jump of the gun, blowing your load, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it could be one of those things, I can see it being, say it is Doomsday, and say they defeat this version of Doomsday, because in the original storyline, Doomsday was a creature that was sent out into the wild. It was on a different planet, but he was sent out in the wild, and every time he would die, the scientists would make a new version, make a new better version, until they created the ultimate being of survival and strength. So I can see being one of those things where Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman defeat this version of Doomsday, but then they come back with a better version of Doomsday.
Yeah.
Or they bring in this version of Doomsday and say Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman can't defeat him. So what do? They're going to gather all the other heroes to try to do it, a.k.a. the Justice League, which is going to be essentially the next film. Because Wonder Woman, we think, is going to take place in the past. So that'll be more like a flashback film. And then the next...
Warming you up for Justice League.
Exactly. The next present-day film will be Justice League. So I'm saying they can't defeat this monster, so they have to gather all... It's a continuation, so to speak. Because it is Dawn of Justice. It's a prequel, so to speak, to Justice League. So say they can't defeat him, they got to bring in Flash or Green Lantern and whoever else they're going to get.
Yeah, let's not forget the title of the movie, Dawn of Justice. With you saying that, it makes me think that we're not going to see the entire fight between these 4 characters, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman.
So here's my other theories. Is one of them that I thought of as well. In the trailer, that desert scene with Batman.
Yes.
And they showed another clip of that. And you had these flying little creatures. No, those are actually Darkseid's minions. In the new Justice League origin story that came out by Jeff Johns, the Justice League banded together to defeat Darkseid. And he had his little flying minions. And that's what those things were in the trailer. So first off, it makes me think that Darkseid might be the villain in the Justice League film, which makes sense. But also, in the comic, of course, Doomsday is just a big, bony, Hulk-like monster. In this trailer, this version makes me think he's got those I-beams. And who else has I-beams is Darkseid.
No, okay.
So what if this is like the beginning stages of a Darkseid character? What if they mix the two characters together, like Doomsday and Darkseid? I don't like the idea, but it makes sense that, again, this version doesn't win, but another version, like the next generation or whatever of this creature, maybe is a little smarter, maybe turns out to be Darkseid. It's a far, far stretch for that.
Yeah.
Just the I-beams really is what made me do it. But this morning, I got a message from one of my friends from back home, Jason, and he reminded me of another character they recently introduced in the title Superman Unchained. I don't think I got you to read that, but it's actually one of the better Superman stories as of late that I actually liked. Because I haven't liked hardly any Superman since they did the New 52 issues with it. But anyway, in Superman Unchained, there's a character known as Wrath, and it's a genetically modified World War II hero who is kind of big, bulky, and strong, monstrous looking. His eyes light up, he absorbs powers and stuff like that. That almost looks exactly like what they did with this character.
Yeah.
So maybe no one has actually confirmed from Warner Brothers or DC this is Doomsday.
It's a lot of speculation.
It's a lie. I mean, yeah, of course. Our minds just immediately went to Doomsday thinking, seeing him, just kind of what the most popular character is Doomsday that looks like that. So that's where our mind just immediately went to.
Yeah.
I would like it a lot better if it wasn't Doomsday.
Oh man, I hope they don't screw up that story. That's what makes me want them to wait and not blow their load on a great story, great villain. Well, the bones. That's what made me think. The character was Doomsday. But have you thought about General Zod at all? I mean, he does in the trailer. He does.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're literally what it looks like. I've heard
mutated maybe.
When I heard the rumors a while ago, about Zod being turned into Doomsday. This is kind of what it looks like they're doing in the trailer. They're taking Zod's body, Lex is modifying it or whatever, and turning him into a Doomsday-like character.
Yeah, and then you have the laser beams coming out of his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense that it's Zod, of course, because very Krypton sense. The last shot there, well, one of the last shots was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Very cool. That was probably my favorite
awesome.
part.
That was great.
Seeing all three of them live action like that. That was really cool. What did you think of the line where they were like, "Is she with you?" Or I thought she was with you.
I liked it. I thought it wasn't. It was just the right amount of cheese, but I mean, Gal's gonna. I think she's gonna pull it off. She looks good.
You don't know that. She looks the part. We haven't seen her say one word yet.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
It's all in the acting. Okay. I mean, I look like Aquaman. Doesn't mean I can freaking command the seven seas. Okay.
Maybe we'll have a cast that just looks like the part, but they can't act for shit. I mean, but
we've had a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on in the comic book world. At least early on. Now they're getting the right kind of talent. At least Marvel is. But with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, just that little exchange at the beginning, no fears at all about their performances in the film. I liked Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. Ben Affleck's solid. Just from what I've seen of those two, I'm not worried about them. It's the rest of the movie I'm worried about.
Maybe that's all we need. I mean, the exchanges between those two actors are so great.
It's Batman v Superman, and that's another thing. Batman v Superman, and we already see the part at the end there where they have to team up, make up, and fight this Doomsday-like character. So that kind of spoiled it, of course, for me as well.
Man, I bet that'll be the last 15 minutes of the movie.
When they take on Doomsday?
Yes, and you probably won't even finish the fight. It'll cut you off in the middle and make you have to go see the next one.
I don't know. We'll see. I can see them defeating this monster, but then the post-credits scene, they have where another Doomsday emerges or whatever, or something like that.
Attach him to an asteroid and send him out in space. That way he can come back whenever he wants.
No, they got to keep the fight on Earth, at least for a little while. They can't go intergalactic quite yet, I don't think.
They didn't waste time doing that on the first one, though.
No, they did. They did. I mean, the first in the... I'm not going to get into this because then I'm going to go into my whole issues about Man of Steel, and I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to move on.
Way to test your control there. I like
exactly.
that.
I could go on forever about my issues with Man of Steel and the way Warner Brothers is treating the DC Cinematic Universe. So we're just going to move on from there. Okay. So going on, we're going to switch gears to some sci-fi news. Director Shane Black, who is most notably known for directing Iron Man 3. Back in 2014, in June, he was signed on to direct the next Predator film. Now, this last week, it was announced that screenwriter Frank Decker finished the script. Producer John Davis said the script is, quote, genius. And it looks like this film is all set to go, ready to go. And they were also asked if it was going to be a sequel to the 2010 film starring Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne. But then Black said, it's quickly clarify it's an inventive sequel. Why start over when you've got all this rich mythology yet to mine? So with that, Predator sequel, another one on the way. I like the Predator films. The Alien and Predator usually go together. You've had those ones where they cross paths as well. If Alien's trying to get back on its feet with the Prometheus sequel and what Ridley Scott's doing, it makes sense they're trying to get Predator back online.
Oh, yeah.
But how many Predator films have you seen? Have you seen the new one? Have you watched the originals, Josh?
I've watched the originals. I've seen up to 3, I believe. 2, actually, with Danny Glover.
Well, yeah, because there's
Predator
the original
1,
Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Classic.
Then there was Predator 2 with Danny Glover.
Yes.
Then you had all those Alien versus Predator films, which the first one I actually enjoyed. The other ones, I think there was 1 or 2 more that were crap. And then they had Predators, which came out in 2010, which I actually enjoyed that movie as well.
That's one I haven't seen.
It's actually pretty cool, man. They take a bunch of criminals, and I think they're all criminals, I believe. But they put them on a planet, and pretty much the Predators are hunting them all. It's actually pretty cool. I recommend it. So initially, it seems like this is going to be a sequel to that, which I think is a good jumping off point. The mythology of the Predators, I think, is really cool. I think it works very well when you put them with the Aliens franchise. By themselves, though, I think there are a lot of ways they can go to make this cool. Plus, Shane Black, minus what he did with Iron Man 3, I'm actually a fan of his. I just saw the trailer for his new movie coming out, The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and what's his name? Russell Crowe.
Oh wow, okay.
And that looks pretty funny. It looks like one of my favorite movies of his is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr., which is
gotta check that one out.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely gotta check. It's like
I've seen that on Netflix.
it's a action detective, but it's got like comedy in it. It's really funny. And this Nice Guys looks like the same thing. So that's kind of his vibe. I don't know how that's gonna go with Predators. But anyway, new Predator movie. I'm excited about it.
I love that they didn't put a frame around the universe. There's so much mythology there that they don't have to just make a direct sequel.
Reboot,
I love the idea of an inventive sequel. And who knows? I mean, you can also do a little bit of the time travel, incidents, bring things back. There's so much you can do there. And I think with Alien, the two universes should run parallel to each other. And
one universe, shared universe. Yeah, they're like all of Hollywood is trying to do. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm excited.
Cool. All right, so moving on, we're going to go back to our superheroes because that's really what we like to talk about anyway.
Oh, yeah.
The new Entertainment Weekly cover is Marvel's Captain America Civil War. On it, you have Chris Evans as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and Chadwick Boseman as Marvel's newest hero, Black Panther. So Black Panther is going to be introduced in Civil War, and then he's going to get his own movie in 2018. The description of him, he's tall, he's powerful, and he has claws that a real housewife would envy.
That line, I don't know about that.
Here's what's causing the controversy, okay? It's Entertainment Weekly kind of fluffing down the character. What it is they have a picture of him, and there's a little caption over his head saying, meow.
Wow.
Which seems kind of silly. And then this line here, where it says, he's tall, he's powerful, and has claws a real housewife would envy. So they're kind of they feel like they're poking fun of the character, and the fact that this character is the first black, superhero kind of out from this new regime, people are kind of having an issue with it because of that. Now, let's see here. Boseman talked about it. He said, it's not fair to the comic fans to whom Black Panther means a great deal to in terms of progression and representation. It's not fair to the general audience as well, because this is a reminder that for a large part of the population, the medium and remain basically it's going to be the first time people see the Black Panther in this magazine and not giving him a good interpretation of what he's supposed to be. Now there was an article as well. Let's see here. Where's it at here? Okay, here we go. One of the CBR columnists had a good quote. It says, Black Panther is a symbol of the black male heritage, accomplishments, and aspirations. The Black Panther is the antithesis of the demonization of the American black man, perpetuated by various parties in media and government institution. Both Entertainment Weekly's cover copy emasculates a character that represents black success. The end result is problematic and oddly tone-deaf. Jokey cover copy is a trademark of Entertainment Weekly. I'm a subscriber and I have been a reader since I was in elementary school. I don't think there was any negative intent in the magazine's part, and I'm sure the actual article pays the character due respect. But there's also responsibility here. This is the first black superhero in American comics and the first black superhero to headline a film in the massively popular Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this is the way that likely millions of people will see the character for the first time. Maybe save the jokes for the sequel. And of course, there's more to the article than the Black Panther, because it talks to Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., has a bunch of pictures. So we're going to tackle this two ways. First off, I don't know if you saw, did you see the pictures from the Entertainment Weekly?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how would you think of the pictures and the overall, just the article itself?
It wasn't what I've gotten from the comics about the character. I've always looked at Black Panther as a very masculine, regal character because he is royalty and
African king.
And I thought whoever titled the marketer for Entertainment Weekly doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, that's the thing. Is a lot of people don't get. It's weird because you say just like in when Fox News interviewed people or this guy for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, you had the interviewer, the guy who was for it, and the girl who's against it. And these two other people were ganging up against this guy because just didn't get Star Wars. They didn't like it, so they attacked this guy because he did like it. I feel like Entertainment Weekly did kind of the same thing. They don't get this character. They don't get the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
So they're kind of poking fun at it.
I mean, why not? I mean, but I don't take this article too seriously from Entertainment Weekly.
I wouldn't. It's just, I get their point, though. It is the first strong black character we're going to see. So to introduce him like this to millions of Entertainment Weekly viewers, I can see their issue with it. I don't take too much offense to it, but then again, I'm Caucasian, so
I was going to say, there's a line you can go here.
I'm not a minority, so to speak, at least not yet. So in that respect, I can see their point of view. I can see why they're upset. I think I'm just going to stay out of this. So
I was surprised you put this on the storyline, but I'm just going to say this. I've always looked at the character with a lot of pride, and it's royalty. I've always expected, a certain standard of behavior from regal royalty people, and Entertainment Weekly totally missed on this picture, totally missed on the caption of it. I don't think this is what we're going to get from the movie. I think the character in the movie is going to be badass. It's going to be...
I've read some Black Panther comics, and he's a great character.
Storm's husband, right? I mean...
Yes, well, see, that's a cool thing. That's the thing I like what they did. They brought him in on this. So, during Civil War, when the actual storyline of Civil War was going on, Iron Man and Captain America and all the heroes took a break from the fighting to attend Black Panther and Storm's wedding.
Right.
So the fact that they take that character, where he was kind of a neutral character in the comic books, now he's a neutral character in the movie as well. So to take that aspect and jump that over as well, I think is really cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have two strong characters. The fact that they're together, I think they need to... I mean, I wish there was a way they can include that storyline at some point into the movie, but I mean, I keep thinking about copyright thing. I'm just wishful thinking.
No, it's all right. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. The article itself, I'm gonna go pick up that issue, not to really see what the controversy is, but they have more pictures of the movie as well. There's another picture where the Captain America is sitting around with, I think it's Black Widow and Falcon, and then you see Agent 13 as well in there too.
Oh, great.
You kind of see how she plays into it all. So I'm gonna pick up the magazine just to see what it's like, but just gets me more excited for the film.
Yeah, and I mean the director alone is the same from Winter Soldier, right?
Yes, the Russo brothers.
And that movie was a spy movie, man. A great classic film, I think, in my opinion. And I think this is gonna have a similar vibe. So I'm not too worried about them not taking Black Panther seriously.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Going next to Game of Thrones. Dun, 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 dun. I could sing that theme all day. So we got our first trailer, so to speak, for the next season of Game of Thrones, season 6. You and I are both big Game of Thrones fans. Yes. It feels weird because we've had so much time without it. The last season left us on such a devastating cliffhanger or devastating surprise. I've been itching to see where they're going to go. So with this little teaser here, they didn't really show us any new footage. There's a couple audio bites, I think, from the new season they gave us. But basically they showed us a bunch of events that happened throughout the previous seasons of Game of Thrones. And just kind of like a couple deaths, a couple shocking things, stuff that happened. And then it mainly featured Jon Snow. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the last episode of Season 5 of Game of Thrones, and you don't want it spoiled, turn us off for about, I'll go 3 minutes. Okay, so it featured Jon Snow. We saw him die, of course, at the end of Season 5. This trailer heavily featured him, though. And there have been a lot of fan theories about him coming back, whether it be as a White Walker, whether the red-haired woman brings her back. I mean, what do you think, man?
I love the line at the end where he, I can't get the name right.
It was Bran.
Bran,
yes. And that's the thing, is Bran.
Oh, man.
We didn't see him at all last season, and he's coming back this season.
I'm excited that character's back. But the line at the end where they don't know what's going to happen, they have no idea what's going to happen, is great, man. That's exactly what's going on.
Of course, I think he's referring to the White Walkers.
Oh, of course, but at the same time, there's a little... it's definitely a shot at the audience. I mean, we don't know what the hell's going to happen in this next season, so...
Nobody knows, because now we're out of the range where the books can tell people what happens. What's going on right now in season 6 has not been published yet.
Yeah, and this teaser trailer was great, man. They're playing off of it perfectly, I think.
They're really playing off that death. I mean, honestly, they're playing off Jon Snow's death really hard because that was devastating for me, man. Jon Snow was my favorite character, one of the main reasons I watched the show, and now I don't even know if he doesn't come back. I don't even know if I'm going to like the show, honestly.
I asked myself that same question with each character's death, but
I mean, it's like if Star Wars killed Luke Skywalker. I mean, come on, man.
Killed Obi-Wan, man.
Well, he's not the main character. You know, he's not the guy you root for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ever since Jon Snow died, I gotta be honest, I've had this pain in my gut that I've just kind of learned to deal with until, I guess, and it won't go away until the next season comes out, man, so.
I can see them bringing him back because he, like I said, I think he is the central character in this series. But I feel like if they bring him back, it's going to be a cop-out. Just like how Walking Dead brought back, what's his name?
Glenn.
Exactly. I don't like it when they bring characters back like that, just as kind of a cop-out. Unless they do it in a cool way and they plan it all ahead. Because nobody else has come back. I mean, Ned has not come back. Rob has not come back. Those characters are dead. Once you're dead, you're dead. So to bring Jon Snow back, I feel like wouldn't really work with what the aura, so to speak, that the show is doing.
So you must have a different mindset towards all the characters in Game of Thrones. I mean, I've always pictured Jon Snow and Khaleesi as the two main characters that we want to.
And then I saw Tyrion as the third.
Okay.
So I saw those three as the characters that were always safe. And then Jon Snow died, and I'm like, what the hell?
Screwed up the world there. So, I mean, I still picture it that way. And the fact that they're going to bring Jon Snow, I mean, why not? It's freaking Jon Snow. I mean,
it is Jon Snow. And that's the thing, is last season, remember, the red-haired woman, I don't remember, what's her actual name? I forget.
Oh, man, I'm horrible with names.
But she tried to hook up with Jon Snow.
Of course. Yeah.
And she only tries to hook up with guys that have greatness or king's blood in them. So she knows that Jon Snow is a great man or meant for greatness. So a main theory is that maybe she might try to bring him back to life because she knows what's coming, the White Walkers, and she knows Jon Snow is going to be the one to lead everyone
He's
against
the man.
them. He is the man. Gosh, I want to see them that episode, the second to last episode where he faced off against the White Walkers, which was phenomenal episode.
And the episode was intense.
I want to see them do that in IMAX like they did. They did the battle on the wall in season 4. I want to see them take that episode from season 5 and put it up on IMAX like they did with the wall episode. Because that would be badass.
That would be awesome.
Remember we were going to go see it and then you copped out on me too?
Did you go to that after all?
No, I didn't. I didn't go to it, man. You said you were going to go and you didn't come with. You said,
why do you got to bring up moments like that?
Because I have to remind you. If I don't remind you of all the times that you backed out, then how am I ever supposed to get you to follow through?
It's better than a random slap to the face.
Exactly. I could do that. Ask my old roommate. He used to slap him all the time just for fun. I used to get drunk and just slap him all the time. He hated that, man.
You're better than that, Sean. You're better than
I'm more mature now, okay? I'm an adult.
Thanks, friend.
All right, so let's move on there. Heading over to Lucasfilm, which we'll get more on that in a little bit. But right now we're going to talk Indiana Jones. That's right. So a while back, producer Frank Marshall talked about how, as of right now, they don't foresee anyone except Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones. They really don't plan on it. And now Steven Spielberg, the man who directed all 4 Indiana Jones films, chimes in as well. He says, quote, "It's certainly not my intention to ever have another actor step into his shoes in the way there have been many actors that have played Spider-Man or Batman. There is only going to be one actor playing Indiana Jones, and that's Harrison Ford." So that kind of seems cool. I like it.
I love that.
But the character is bigger than the actor. You never should put the actor above the character. Plus, guess what? Indiana Jones is owned by Lucasfilm, which is owned by Disney. If you think Disney is not going to let this well-known, popular character who can make them millions, if not billions of dollars, just because the actor who has always played him is getting old, I can foresee, it might not happen soon, but I can see that in like 5 or 6 years, we get another Indiana Jones movie, maybe have an old Harrison Ford does a flashback
Yeah.
where a younger actor plays Indiana Jones, and then that actor carries on from there.
I love that idea. I mean, and I can respect that idea.
Because that's what they did in the old TV show. The Young Indiana Jones Adventures.
Great show.
Exactly. They had another young actor.
Sci-fi.
It was Sean Patrick Flannery, played a teenage Indiana Jones, and they had flashbacks of Harrison Ford as an old man, and flashing back to when Sean Patrick Flannery was Indiana Jones. And I can see that happening.
That would be a swell idea to go with that route. An idea I can respect. If they try to make a modern day Indiana Jones where it's just a timeless movie comic, I'm not really into that idea, man. I only in my mind I only have one Indiana Jones, and that's Harrison Ford. I'm totally okay with them never recasting that.
Yeah, I in a perfect world it'd be awesome, but this is not a perfect world. Okay, we're living in a world where people like to do reboots and sequels more than they actually like to eat cereal or something. I don't know, but I definitely know at some point, sometime in the near future, we're gonna get another Indiana Jones, and I am about 90% sure that they're going to introduce a younger Indiana Jones who's going to carry the franchise. Because a lot of people had issue with the last Indiana Jones film is that it was an older Indy. He was in the 50s. Some people debate that Indy should be in the 30s and 40s fighting Nazis. That's where he works best, which I kind of agree with. I liked the last, with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They had me up until they had Shia LaBeouf swinging on vines. Because I like the idea of evolving the character of Indiana Jones where he's older, he's in the 50s, he's in a new era, he seems kind of out of place a little bit, where he's that old guy who has the old mindset and he has to deal with the modern world or new world. I like that interpretation, but then it got all goofy with the vine swinging and the waterfalls where nobody got hurt, or
it turned into the Indiana Jones ride, basically.
It was horrible, exactly.
That film felt so forced, so artificial, compared to the other films they're classics, cult classics.
Oh yeah, and I just got the Indiana Jones trilogy on Blu-ray this Black Friday. I'm looking forward. I still haven't watched it. I'm looking forward to going back and watching it as well, because those three movies are great. Crystal Skull, I don't even recognize, of course. But the first three are awesome. If
they're going to make more films, they have to capture the authenticity of the original films. It can't be forced. It can't be... There definitely can't be swinging on vines and killer ants. I don't know about that.
Because I think originally they wanted Shia LaBeouf to take over that franchise, but because of the fact that that movie did so horribly, or was perceived so horribly, they kind of put the axe on that.
And then Shia LaBeouf became
crazy.
Depressed and got crazy and
exactly. So that's all snack food. But I'm anxious to see what they do with the franchise. Like I said, I think I can see Harrison Ford being in the next one, but not the main actor in it. Definitely. So moving on. This next one I put in here just for you. We're gonna have 2 Batman stories in this podcast. Okay. More Batman just for you.
Extra Batman time.
So The Dark Knight is known for actually doing some crossovers, and not just in the DC universe. There was an issue where he crossed over with Spider-Man, another one where he crossed over with Judge Dredd, and him and Superman have also taken on Predator and Aliens themselves. Mm-hmm. So now DC Comics and IDW Publishing are going to do a Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles miniseries.
Yes.
So the storyline goes, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with Shredder and the Foot Clan, are transported to an alternate universe. While they usually dwell in the sewers of New York City, they will soon find themselves in Bruce Wayne's hometown of Gotham. There, they will meet up with Batman, and the 5 badass vigilantes will go against a rogues gallery of iconic DC villains, with Shredder jumping in the mix at one point. So they released a cover and a couple pages online a few days ago, and the issue itself, the first issue out of 6, comes out tomorrow. Story will be by James Tynion and the art by Freddie E. Williams. And in addition, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles co-creator Kevin Eastman and other to-be-announced artists will illustrate various covers. So that's kind of cool. So I'm excited. Growing up, Ninja Turtles was one of my things. One of my sacred cartoons that I loved. I had all the toys. I watched the cartoon. I, adored those first couple of movies. the newest film that came out last year literally ripped my heart out and made me want to vomit. The way they treated the Ninja Turtles. But thankfully, IDW, the current Ninja Turtles series they are publishing, I am enjoying. So I still have some good Ninja Turtles stories with the comic books. I just read volume 12 of the trade. It's still good. I still like it. If you're a Ninja Turtles fan, I definitely recommend it. So this gets me kind of excited for more Ninja Turtles. They did a crossover as well. Before they did this one, they did a crossover with Ghostbusters. I read it. It wasn't that good. Doing The Dark Knight, I'm a little more interested. What do you think of it, man?
You're taking two characters that love hand-to-hand combat, man. I can't wait to see Shredder and Batman go at it. Or
I'm curious what Batman villains they're going to bring into the mix to face the Ninja Turtles.
Man, if you bring Joker in, he might be making some turtle soup.
I don't know, man. I could see him going a different way. Do like Clayface or Killer Croc, more like mutants, like what's up the Ninja Turtles alley.
You don't think they'll go with main villains? Joker, Two-Face, some of those. I mean, I can even see the Red Hood
obvious.
being there.
Here it is. Like when they did Batman, Spider-Man, they had Carnage and Joker. These are two characters that, as far as their mindset and craziness, are very similar. So I can see them teaming Shredder up with someone who is more up his alley. Whether that be like a Two-Face or a Ra's al Ghul. That'd be cool, actually. I just thought of that. Or they can go, since Shredder is known to use mutants like Bebop and Rocksteady to fight the Turtles, I can see them bringing in Killer Croc or Clayface to go with that way as well. But now I just thought about it, Ra's al Ghul, boom, nailed it.
That would be great, man.
They're very similar characters as far as their drive and motivation. I like that. But the crossover is really cool. One of the pictures they had was Batman sitting down eating a slice of pizza with the Ninja Turtles, which was kind of funny. But, Batman, I don't see him eating pizza because to be in the peak physical condition he has to be in, I feel like he doesn't eat a lot of pizza.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Turtles are able to loosen the old Batman up a little bit.
That would be awesome. I like that.
It's going to be interesting, the blend of comedy and Batman's a dark character.
It'll be interesting, yeah. I think he's going to bump heads a little bit with him, too. I can see, especially Raph. Raphael is kind of a hothead, so I can see him and Batman kind of bumping heads. I can see Batman and Leonardo kind of bumping heads as far as field leader. I can see Donatello, giving him a run for his money as far as science and knowledge. And then, of course, there's Michelangelo, who's probably going to try to loosen him up. I can see Michelangelo, the entire storyline, his whole goal is to try to get a smile or a laugh out of Batman.
That would be great.
That'd be a great storyline throughout that entire one. I think that would be awesome. But a lot of crossovers like this, most of the time they're not that good. I'm not going to lie. They're not that good. Like I said, the Ninja Turtles Ghostbuster one wasn't that great. I haven't read a lot of good crossovers like this. I'm hoping it's good, but I'm not really.
I think they did a good.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, the two characters are going to be. I think they're both. They're going to mesh well. I mean, Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. I mean,
yeah, they're
really
totally different.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Two characters that mesh well.
We shall see. All right, so let's go on to the next one here, and it's that time to talk Star Wars.
Star Wars time.
Okay, kids. So we are 1 week and 2 days away from The Force Awakens. I'm actually starting the other 6 films tonight. I'm going to start with episode 1. I'm excited, of course, it's getting closer and closer. My anticipation is building. I got my Star Wars shirt. Every time I go to a big movie that I'm looking forward to, I buy a new shirt related to it. When Man of Steel came out, I bought a new Superman shirt. When Avengers Age of Ultron came out, I bought a Captain America shirt. So, of course, for Star Wars, I had to buy a new Star Wars shirt. So I'm totally excited. I'm ready for it. I'm going to review. I finished Clone Wars. I got 2 more graphic novels to read. And then, of course, like I said, I'm going to start rewatching the movies tonight. So I'm almost there. I'm almost at that point. We're 1 week away.
Question. Is there such thing as too much Star Wars before the film?
It depends. Like I said, I'm still freezing out all news. I still have not seen any TV spots. I've avoided magazine articles, pictures, as much as I could avoid them, of course. too much as far as, no, not too much review. Now, I think if you're really going to want to review something that's going to have an impact in this movie that you might see, the two things I would recommend would be the 6 movies and then Star Wars Rebels. Because I feel like they're going to have more, there's more likelihood that they're going to reference something from those pieces of media than, say, like the Clone Wars or something, is what I believe. So if you were to review, those are the two things I would kind of recommend.
Nice corner there.
So, exactly. So let's get on the actual Star Wars news. There's a couple of controversial things, I guess you could say, that have come up. Let's get to the good one first. The good, happy one is that Disney and Lucasfilm are in the process of casting for the upcoming young Han Solo, there I said it right, film that comes out in 2018. Hollywood Reporter is saying that they've met with over 2,500 actors already.
Wow.
And there's still more to go. The film is going to be directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who directed the Lego Movie and 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Interesting.
So far, said the list of contenders for the iconic role, some of them include Aaron Taylor Johnson from Kick-Ass and Avengers Age of Ultron, Miles Teller, who was in Fantastic Four, Tom Felton, who was in Harry Potter, Colton Hayes, who played Roy from Arrow, Chandler Riggs from The Walking Dead, and Rami Malek from the show Mr. Robot. Looks like it says they're aiming for an actor in his 20s, and they're looking for someone who can somewhat resemble Harrison Ford and can be funny and charming. The film is going to be written by Star Wars veteran screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan. They haven't got an official title yet for the film, but production is set to begin in January 2017, and it is set to be released May 25th, 2018. Any of these names I brought up sound good for Han Solo for you, Josh?
I know who I would pick, but actually, I want to hear, you're actually pretty good about picking these.
So a lot of people were thinking, the first one that most popular one I've seen is the guy who plays Eggy in Kingsman. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who starred in that film, that's a lot of people are saying, oh, he'd be a good choice. I don't know if he's actually tried out for it or not. So I don't know about that. As far as the list that we have here, none of them really hit me too much. The one guy that I'm kind of thinking actually, and I saw this in one of the many websites that had this story. The guy from, this is going to be really bad, it's, what's the one movie? I want to say The Fault in Our Stars. It's the one with Shailene Woodley. She is sick and she's dying.
Yeah, the main male actor.
The male actor. Did you see that movie?
Yes, I did.
So that guy, I see him. I see it in his face. He's kind of got that kind of charisma to him. And
he definitely had that. The character itself, that was an Indiana Jones type character.
Exactly. He's got that little bit of a Ford-esque kind of charm to him. So I can definitely see that happening. It's a long ways away. It's amazing they're interviewing so many people. 2,500 actors already have been interviewed. But it makes sense. Because really, if you don't nail this actor, the whole film doesn't work. And Star Wars fans everywhere will riot. It's just going back to Indiana Jones, you know? The people don't want to see anyone but Harrison Ford play Indiana Jones. Just like people don't want to see anybody else play Han Solo except Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford is like America's favorite actor.
He is the man.
Right?
He is a man's man. Okay, that's why we all love him.
I agree with that statement.
My mom has a huge obsession with Harrison Ford.
The confidence, the swagger, the chin.
It's hard. It's going to be hard to pull off, but I can see them doing it. I trust Lucasfilm. I trust Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I think they're going to pull it off. I think it's going to be good. But it's going to be a long, drawn-out process, too.
Yeah, man. To me, this character is so sacred, like you said, so sacred, and I can't picture anybody else doing it, that I feel like we're going to have to... it's going to be like a Heath Ledger moment where nobody expected Heath Ledger to be Joker and do it well. I think Han Solo is going to be a similar character like that. So.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this progresses. Not only is Han Solo, but also what they do with the film. It's how young they go. They're going to go in the 20s. Here's what I want. I want to see Han right before he meets up with Luke and Ben. I want to see the last scene of the film, Han and Chewie walking into that cantina where they meet Luke Skywalker and Ben Kenobi.
Oh, man, I just got chills. You said that.
That would be awesome, I think. That would be really cool. That's what I'm hoping for. Really cool. So, all right, so moving on, more Star Wars news. I got two more things I was going to talk about. We're running out of time, though, so I'm just going to skip and go right to one of them. The one I'm not going to talk about was JJ Abrams got kind of some slack as far as... Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to skip the George Lucas story about him actually seeing The Force Awakens and kind of giving his approval of it. I'm going to go to the JJ Abrams story because actually this ties into something I wanted to talk about. So JJ Abrams and the cast of Star Wars The Force Awakens was on Good Morning America, and he was talking, and he was quoted in saying, Star Wars has always been about a boy thing and a movie that dads can take their sons to. And though it's still very much that case, I was really hoping that this could be a movie that mothers can take their daughters to as well. So I'm looking forward to kids seeing this movie and to seeing themselves in it and seeing that they're capable of doing what they could never imagine was possible. This seemed like a pretty uplifting quote to me. Do you agree?
Yes.
People went crazy over this. Like, I guess they're saying how, he's saying it's a boys thing. That's blah, 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 you know. I don't know. I saw it as an uplifting quote.
I mean, it's hard for me to say anything otherwise. I agree with that. I mean, it's a positive message, so to speak, but everybody's so sensitive, man.
It is. It's 2015. Y'all got to be PC. And you know what I thought about the other day? It was last week. I was just sitting here, and I was reading just another story. I don't know what it was in the news, and something clicked in my brain, and I'm like, I'm done trying to be PC. I'm done trying to step over people, okay? Look, guess what, people? I don't like guns. Real Muslims can't hurt anybody, okay? And I think Barack Obama has done the best job he can as a president, okay? It's out there. Okay? It's out there. So let's just stop trying to walk on eggshells, everybody, okay? Let's respect each other. Okay, I went on a tangent there. But okay, getting back to this article. I can't believe I just did that. So getting back to this article. So then JJ went on Twitter afterwards, and he was doing a Q&A, and he said, because I was stupid and exhausted, I said this. I meant to say that so many people have perceived Star Wars as a boys' club, and it ain't. Never has been, and I hope girls and women see themselves in Rey, Captain Phasma, and the other female characters in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Disney and Lucasfilm have gone through great efforts to collect the most diverse cast possible, which they have, I think. I mean, we all think that the two main characters in Star Wars The Force Awakens is a female and an African-American character.
Yeah. I mean, you can't win, man.
You can't win. Because when they first had the whole... They announced the first initial casting, a lot of people were like, well, there's only one woman in the new casting besides Carrie Fisher. What's that all about? And then they were like, well, you don't have enough African-American characters except this one. And then other people are saying, well, this African-American character is, the lead, so that's not right because rednecks are idiots. And I'm like, you can't win. You can't please everyone. So you just got to do what you do.
Everybody has a voice. At the end of the day, I admire JJ
And some voices are stupid.
Yes, that aside.
I'm sorry. I'm throwing it out there, man.
Sean is passionate about this.
I'm passionate now.
Well, I admire JJ Abrams' ability to be himself and not come off. I'm gonna use Zack Snyder as a verb here, not come off very Schneider-ish.
Schneider.
Abram, man. I mean, I think he's done everything right. He's done best kid here. You're going to have haters. Haters are going to hate, man.
Haters going to hate.
What I'm wondering is, did we go through any of this controversy with the original films? When
no, of course
4, 5,
not.
6
no,
were coming out? Were we saying... I mean, I remember watching the making of those, and they were talking about Carrie Fisher's weight and how she was one of the first, I guess, curvy women to be casted into a lead actress.
Carrie Fisher was talking about, too, I think it was on Good Morning America as well, where they made her lose 30 pounds as well. Mm-hmm. And then they were talking about how... the Slave Leia toy, people are going up in arms about that because some dad thought it was offensive for his daughter to see that as a toy, even though it's been out for 30 plus years.
Completely different issues, but there's always been issues, I guess.
Yeah, and then Carrie Fisher herself said that whole issue with the toy was stupid.
Yeah.
So, you know what? And it's funny, too. I'm getting off the rails here, but I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go full all out. The same guy that had issues with that, guess what? He probably has an issue of the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition at home and probably watches porn all the time. So
just let go, man. Just let go.
He's expensive. Dude, okay, I'm done.
I mean, I'm talking to the people out there, man. I mean, stop being so sensitive.
Exactly.
I mean, let's allow everybody to be themselves.
We're totally getting off subject here. I can't believe this.
We're sticking to Star Wars, though. We're doing
Star Wars, exactly. And that's another thing, too, is there was, speaking of issues in the world, I guess you could say, Star Wars has all been about a group of people of different species, races, whatever, coming together. Like, that's the one thing is, like, in the original trilogy, you had the Empire that is all, like, stormtroopers, all dressed the same, all very uniform in that respect. And then you had the Rebellion, where you have aliens of all different races coming together. You had Ewoks, you had Wookiees, you had Calamari, which is what Admiral Akbar is, by the way, in case you didn't know. And they were all coming together to fight the Empire. They were, the diverse group that came together to fight the man, so to speak, is what it was originally supposed to be. George Lucas kind of wrote that as basically in 1960s and 70s against the establishment, I guess you could say.
Well, Star Wars has always been to me good versus evil. You have your evil side, you have your good side, and the.
But isn't it weird how the evil side is always they all look the same?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, innuendos in that film. I mean,
there are a lot of innuendos in Star Wars. Yes,
I think it's just Star Wars in general. The subject matter itself, man, it's got this.
It's got a lot of layers. Classic. It's very much layers. If you haven't watched it, go on YouTube, and like I said, it's called Star Wars: The Legacy Revealed, and these actors, philosophers, scholars, they dissect the Star Wars saga, and they dissect it from a story standpoint, a mythology standpoint, religious standpoint, political standpoint, all this stuff too. It's really, really fascinating as well. But yeah, Star Wars, I was saying, my friend I was talking about, I was like, I'm really glad that I grew up on Star Wars and X-Men, because I feel like those things have helped me recognize or be more conscious to people that are different.
Amen.
Different isn't bad.
Amen.
Different is good in some cases, except for Josh. He's just weird.
Well, that aside.
All right, so we went off on a little tangent here at the end. I apologize for that. We went a little over as well, but we're just going to go ahead and just call it right now and see, hey, maybe this little stir of controversy will actually get people responding to us online.
Let's just piss people off.
Exactly.
That's the one way to get listeners.
People respond more to bad than they do the good. Like, you're going to, on professional websites, you see people more complaining than they do giving compliments. So,
hey, haters are going to hate, and we're going to just continue being ourselves.
Sad but true. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for us for this week. If you want to find us or have any comments, want to talk about us or yell at us, whatever, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. I am on Instagram and Twitter at Slim, SLYM Dayspring12. Josh, where can they find you?
Instagram, I am Batman247. Add me, follow me, do as you please.
He needs the love. He's very needy.
Oh, yes.
He's needy.
All the time, as much as I can get.
Must be hard being your girlfriend.
Oh, man, very, very high maintenance boyfriend she has.
I guess so, man. Whatever. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Until then, stay stout.